Hello and welcome back. I want to make an apology first before we get into anything. This episode is no video. Um, Again, this was a result of some of the power failure issues that we had. This is part two of Rivals. There are four total parts. The whole Rivals episode has a lot of um, just errors in it. We had a lot of trouble over the 4 weeks between power and just technical difficulties. I do have them sorted out after the Rivals episode, but in the meantime, I do absolutely apologize. I think there's even some problems in the episode after this, but again, thank you for bearing with us, and I hope you guys enjoy. All right, I think we're theoretically live. So this is another exciting episode of, I don't know if it's going to be exciting or not, but episode of Star Trek Europa. I'm your host, as always, Jeff Harvey, and you can find me all the places at Studio Tembo, including studiotembo.com. So I've got new episodes up on YouTube for patrons, and I've got new episodes up. I will have the edited episodes up Friday. So we lost power last session, so we're going to do a quick pickup from there. But before we get into that, let's go ahead and introduce everybody. Evelyn, go ahead.
I'm Evelyn Corbin playing Dr. Desabe Onat. You can only find me in my natural state of confusion.
Yes, which I was confused by that statement ending so fast. Brian.
My name is Brian. I'm playing Captain Jorad Hage. If you find me, it will be because you found me before I found you.
Okay, and Jack.
I appreciate everyone having other things to say, so it's not just me taking up a whole bunch of time. Hello, I am Jack. You can actually find me over at my own channel, twitch.tv/The People's Ascension, where I run Dungeons and Dragons every Saturday at 2 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time. We just finished up with a really cool dungeon, and we have the culmination and political ramifications of everything that went down there coming up. Not this week. This week will be off, but next week will be a really fun episode. So if you want some fantasy to go along with this sci-fi, do consider checking me out over at my channel, twitch.tv/The People's Ascension. As for here and now on Star Trek, I play Commander Ronnie Ambrose, and I am super excited to get back into this.
I am shocked. I mean, shocked that you're taking a day off from another game. Shocked.
Yeah. I'm only taking a day off because two of my players had commitments that they couldn't get out of.
Slackers.
Yeah. I know.
Yeah, I got room to talk. All right. With that, we last left off. Again, I lost power in the middle of a scene actually, because I live in the middle of nowhere, and DT doesn't like the middle of nowhere. So, what had happened, I do believe, was we were in the process of just finishing up the curatives for the Iconian, or the Klingon mutagenic virus that was on Dionysia, and you had found a way to essentially stop it. I think I don't remember the exact wording that I used, but
what I have is minimize /stop /reverse the damage.
Right.
So one or all of those things.
Right. And I was in the middle of the doctor actually talking. That I remember. Dr. Aaron Taroth was talking with Desavi and Define. So Dr. Taroth gets a look on his face as you guys are finishing up the research, and I believe the two of you had already said that you've declared that it was a victorious achievement.
Yes.
Dr. Taroth was saying, when Starfleet first arrived, I was uncertain if there was any hope for the Dionysian people. I'm quite taken aback by the grandeur of this achievement. You have well lived up to your reputation, doctors, or nurse and doctor.
We are simply here to help. Happy to help.
Yes, we've We have all this fancy technology. It would be a shame not to use it.
Agreed. With Starfleet's reputation for not wanting to get involved in internal matters, there was always some concern, but I suppose this doesn't necessarily qualify, does it?
Not really.
I will make it known to the people that the Europa was instrumental in finding this curative, and hopefully it works as well as we believe it will. When can we begin synthesizing more of this?
As soon as you're ready.
Let us begin trials, and then begin mass production if it goes as well as we hope.
Excellent.
All right.
Stardate 4956.28. Captain Jorad H. Captain's log. We continue our mission in the Shackleton Expanse. We've uncovered that the Klingons are conducting some kind of disease, or conducting some kind of conducting some kind of experimentation related to the Iconians. Whether on purpose or by accident, they've created a plague. In order to stop them, we are going to need to turn to some old enemies for help. And so we're headed to Narendra Station to make contact with the Romulans. I can only hope that the price they demand is not too high.
All right. Back at Narendra Station. Go ahead and close these. Narendra Station is abuzz with activity. There's a lot of ships going in and out. Starfleet. There's a few Starfleet ships, but mostly it's Klingon ships from Martok's fleet going in and out, coming back for repairs, that sort of thing. When you manage to dock, eventually, or get close to docking anyways, you get some of the worker bees from the station and some of the other support vessels to come out and help repair some of the lingering damage that Europa suffered against the Klingons earlier. Martok and his people are still at the station. You guys can have at what you like to have at on Narendra. Where would you like to start? Ouch. I suppose that actually the best place to start would be to have the captain and Ambrose and anyone else that wants to reporting their findings to the Admiralty, which mostly we can skip the vast majority of and just pick up where Martok and company would step in. But it depends, I guess, on how much you guys actually want to tell Martok about what's going on. So.
I see no reason why we shouldn't be honest with him. Give him everything we know.
Okay.
He's on our side as opposed to these rogue Klingons.
Let's start here. You guys have given your report to the Admiral, Admiral Aralani. Mm-hmm. As you're finishing up your main report, Martok enters, having you. I imagine you've all submitted written reports at some point as well. Mm-hmm. Ambrose, I assume you're there. Let's say, I'm guessing, no doubt Hage is there. Let's see. Ambrose, Hage, anybody else? Doctor, you going to be there?
Yeah.
That'll work. We'll just stick with those three for now. As Martok comes in, he has the pleasant greetings with the Admiral, Admiral Aralani, who I do actually have a picture of. Jaro Aralani. Put him over here. And after the pleasant greetings, he turns to Hage. Greetings, Captain. It is good to see you are still alive. It's not a good Martok voice, but keep going.
It's some days are good days to die. Some days are good days to stay alive.
Yes. And I hear that you have found my son, Morjad.
We have. He tried to kill my first officer.
Yeah.
You want to call that an attempt?
You want to call him my son. He is a disgrace to the House of Martok. He comes from a previous arrangement. His mother, Gothmara. Let us say that my current wife would not approve of her.
Did you say Gothmara, as in Dr. Gothmara?
Indeed.
We met her as well.
Yeah, it is a shame you did not kill them both.
They did not run like cowards, we would have.
My son Drax? I don't remember his name right off the top of my head. But anyway, my son, my actual son, will be leading an expedition to try to find where these cowards have gone. The more we learn, Captain, the more I am convinced that there's something deeper going on here. This cannot simply be the work of rogue Klingons. The Duras were never powerful enough for this.
They are certainly being assisted.
We found technology that's belongs to the Borg and Starfleet, suggesting that somebody's helping them.
And Romulan technology.
And Iconian.
Their motivations seem to be based on avenging the Iconian Empire. Did your wife ever show any obsession with the Iconians?
She and her family had some dealings with the Iconian archaeological expeditions to Icobar and Dua, but I would never have called it an obsession. Gothmara's only obsession, I think, was ever Gothmara. Do we have evidence of any outside forces dealing?
Not directly, no.
The Duras are well known to consort with the Romulans.
Yes, well, that's our next stop. We found out that the Iconian homeworld might be nestled deep within the Romulan Empire. We were hoping they had some more information they'd be willing to share with us.
Yeah, a secretive bunch, the Romulans. Even with our current alliances, they're not forthcoming. I wish you luck, Captain.
I wish your son luck as well. Do you think that there's any chance we could convince Gothmara and Malbar to give up this fool's quest?
No. Morjad, he is blinded by his own ambition, and Gothmara is, as I said, devoted only to Gothmara. You would have better luck convincing Toral of himself that Morjad and Gothmara are working against him than you would ever have of Morjad and Gothmara giving up what they are doing.
That might be worth an effort as well.
Well, in the meantime, I'm going looking for General Kargan.
I wish you good luck there. We've already had to face him in battle, and I would hate. I think he is trying to do what he thinks is honorable. I would love to be able to convince him that what he's doing is going to end in ruin for him and his men.
Kargan is loyal to the Empire, whatever form that takes. If you can prove that Gothmara and Taral are dealing with outside influences, I believe that General Kargan can be swayed.
Would enhanced Klingon bodies be proof enough, do you think?
You would have to prove where they were, who enhanced them.
That's the trick.
It is the trick. It is also one of Gothmara's specialties. She was a bioengineer.
We do have one of her data pads that we've, to my knowledge, not been able to crack yet.
It will take substantial proof to convince General Kargan and his people. If that datapad has it, excellent. If the Iconians' technology is in Romulan space, I suspect finding that may be the most convincing.
Well, I have a hard time believing the Romulans are going to let us traipse into one of the most significant archaeological finds in the known universe. But well, if we do find your proof, we'll let you know.
Excellent. And I suspect that there will be several songs sung if you can get your way in there and back. Good luck, Captain. Commander.
Dirges.
Dirges. Every good Klingon song is a dirge. Good luck, Captain. Good luck, Commander.
Kapla.
Kapla. He looks at the doctor and nods, and he looks at Jaro and nods and smiles, and then walks out of the room. Jaro stands up and, well, Captain, it seems you have your work cut out for you. The Europa will need some time to be repaired. I would give it a day or two at the most. In the meantime, you are welcome to the amenities of the station. And if you're looking to speak with Klingon, if you're looking to speak with Romulans, I would certainly reach out to the subcommander.
Well, we'll also let the crew know that they have some lead time while the ship's being repaired.
Excellent. If you'll excuse me, gentlemen, I have an unfortunate war to conduct. Well, I guess it's not really a war, but to conduct. And he kind of nods to you and goes back to typing on his pads. That's his office, so you're leaving.
I'll go up to Dasavi and Ambrose and say, who do we think is best equipped to speak with the Romulans on their own terms? I think I should go. They'll listen to rank. But who else?
I should go, even though they are well trained at guarding their true intentions. There is still if anyone will be able to detect subterfuge on their part, it will be me.
The subcommander did take, she played up considerable offense when I attempted to do so upon our first meeting.
I will attempt
You
to
may
be more
have better
subtle.
luck.
Let's try it. Let's try it the old-fashioned way before we resort to mind reading.
Well, certainly. Mind reading is a an absolute last resort and a violation amongst those who, or of those who aren't as open-minded as Betazoids.
All right. Well, Ambrose, what do you, Ronnie, what do you think you made a good enough impression that bringing you would be helpful, or maybe perhaps we can speak with Specialist Varen. Perhaps she'd be able to give us some kind of insight on the Romulans during our conversation.
Ambrose will go along.
Well, we'll send word to the Romulan consulate to organize a meeting.
All right. In the meantime, back aboard the Europa, Tong and Delphine.
A whole different game.
A whole different game. Now I'm thinking about the game. Anyway, Delphine and Tong are doing some routine maintenance on some of the bio gel packs in the synapse system of Eva. You guys are going through and scanning and, tedious mundanium that is Starfleet work. If you have anything you guys want to say before you get into, I'll have you make a roll here in a second. But if you guys have anything.
I'd love to do an in media res conversation.
Yeah.
And if you think the four-way marriages are complicated, wait till you see a four-way divorce.
I don't even really want to think about that. To be fair, Ferengi marriage institutions they have their own complications, but the social contracts really aren't a big deal. It's really more of, an actual financial business contract, not something that I'm leaning more towards your, maybe not all the way to your side of thinking, but maybe more towards general Starfleet side of thinking. It's very complicated. I don't know about all that.
While you guys are working, go ahead and give me a control and medicine aided by reason and engineering. Difficulty is 3.
Okay.
Both of us.
One of you is rolling control medicine, and the other is rolling engineering and reason.
Right, that makes sense.
I'll spend a momentum.
Sure. So then Tong is assisting.
Okay. What is this for?
You are scanning the biogel packs.
It is 1 success.
This wouldn't fall under electroplasma power systems, would it?
It does not.
Okay, cool.
Technically, you only roll 1, but it's okay. I'll take the 3.
Oh, okay.
So that counts as 2 successes, and then you have the ship to assist because Eva is assisting. Well, the tricorders are assisting. There's the roll. 5. So that is 3 successes. You succeed, but no additional momentum on this one. Delphine, as you are scanning, the two of you really, as you're scanning, detect that there is something anomalous about the gel pack you're currently scanning. It is coming up as appearing to be altered in some way.
Wait a second. Have you ever seen these kinds of numbers on a gel pack like this?
Numbers? No, I don't think so. Really, these gel packs are kind of more your concern than not concern, but expertise, I suppose. The whole bioneural part is I'm still wrapping my head around it.
Well, sure, but it's all just chemistry. But in any case, it looks like these have been altered somehow. Do you concur?
Uh,
They don't look normal. No. Is the ship sick? Is that a thing?
Something in Voyager.
God, I hope not.
Your tricorder reads that there appears to be some kind of alteration in the RNA of the pack. For those of you who are not familiar with RNA, I can tell you what it is, but if you know what RNA is, good.
That's one of those virus things, right? Our ship is sick. I don't know if I like this.
This is concerning. Let's get this to the lab. We can get a closer look at this.
How do we check a ship for a fever?
Yeah. So yeah. So
See if the warp core is running hot.
Well,
All right. You guys will head off to that. We'll get back to that.
Yeah. Okay.
Let's jump back to these three and this one. Oh, hey. Oh, hey. That's really small. Where are you at? Come back. There she is. Yar. That was weird. I don't know why she was so small. Ambrose, Hage, and Onette are escorted to the Romulan delegation's office aboard Narendra, where you are greeted coldly at first by several of the detachment of Romulan centurions, or at least guys with phasers. Rank may not be centurion, but after a few minutes, you are invited into Subcommander Toshiri's office, and she greets you with a smile. Captain, Commander Ambrose, and Doctor, I don't believe we've really, truly been introduced before, but please have a seat. I'm looking forward to a conversation.
Thank you.
Thank you for meeting with us so soon under such short notice.
I am at the disposal of the Federation. What can I do for you, Captain?
In that case, we were hoping you could help us with something. I don't know if you've heard. Well, I don't. I'm sure you've seen the conflict that's between the Federation and the Klingons, and it seems to have taken on a whole new character lately. We've detected some kind of biological agent. We'd be happy to send you information about this agent, along with the vaccines that we've been developing, as a good faith gesture. We'd also like your help in tracking down these rogue Klingons before they can unleash what they've been cooking up.
I certainly appreciate the sharing of intelligence, but you can't expect the Romulan Empire to get involved in a Klingon and Federation affair.
Can we retcon for a moment and just say that Dasavi has brought some of the tech with her?
Sure, that's fine.
Okay. So she will pull out a piece of very clearly Romulan technology that was taken from one of the Klingons, and offer it out to her. It would seem the Romulans already have.
She does not touch it, not at all.
We also
It's
have reason to
cleaned.
believe
It's only little bits of blood.
we also have reason to believe they might be hiding within your space.
Tell me, Captain, what do you know of the Romulan Star Empire?
Not as much as everybody else, which is slightly less than I think. I think I know about as much as anybody else, which is pretty much exactly how you like it, I think.
I think you're correct. It is disconcerting to see this technology in the hands of Klingons, but not surprising. She stands up for a second and goes over towards the door and pushes a couple buttons on the door, and you hear the door lock, and the room gets 2 or 3 shades of sound dimmer. You can definitely feel that there is an audio dampener that has been activated in the room as well. The reality, Captain, and this is not something that I am authorized to share, but the reality is the Star Empire is divided into 2 major factions. Ever since Chairman Koval, who I'm not sure you're aware, but was a plant from Starfleet intelligence, was discovered by Commander Sela, he was executed. The 2 powers have been in a cold war over the Empire's relationship with the Federation and itself. Commander Sela of the Tal Shiar backs Toral, in the House of Varnick. At least, that's what we believe. Her motivations, I don't know, but it stands to reason that she is attempting to destabilize the Klingons in an attempt to force the Empire, or at the very least the Praetor, to assign forces that would weaken the defenses of Romulus itself.
And which faction do you belong to?
It is the ever-present question, isn't it? The RSE, and the Tal Shiar, Romulan intelligence has factions in both, has ties to both. I do not want to see the Empire divided, and I do not believe that Sela is a strong candidate for Praetor.
And I suppose the fact that she's half human has nothing to do with that.
The fact that she has attempted to overthrow the Empire before has more to do with it than her human side.
Fair enough.
Ever since the Tal Shiar was weakened, for lack of a better term, by the actions of a rogue few and an Oberyn Tain, there have been vast changes in the Romulan Empire. The Praetor, whose name I cannot find in my notes, and I do have it written like 4 times. Praetor Hiren may not be the greatest leader, and he definitely has lost some support amongst the more conservative factions of the Empire with his allegiances to the Federation during the Dominion War. But I believe that he is a stronger candidate for leadership. I'm not sure what kind of aid I can give you. I can take this to the Praetor, but I do not know that it will not simply serve to aid in Sela's plans.
Then all the more then I don't see. Then I think we can both agree that that would not be a good idea. What we would ultimately like is passage to a certain world within the Romulan Star Empire. We have no desire to get embroiled in factional politics. All we want is to get here and stop the Klingons. We don't want to trespass on Romulan territory or breach we don't want to breach the neutral zone, but we are hoping that you will allow us to take care of this issue for both of our sakes.
I can take your request to the Praetor and perhaps get special permission for the Europa to cross into at least the neutral zone. From there, you would have to find a way to get to where you're trying to be. But I cannot guarantee that he will accept.
Is there a way we can do this that avoids the red tape?
She kind of looks around, and I don't believe there would be a wise way to do that at this time, Captain. Let me attempt to speak with Praetor Hiren. I can do so through back channels. We will see what happens.
You might impress upon him that Gothmara, in acting in her own best interest, might not be satisfied with simply ruling the Klingon Empire. And if she gets what she's after, it won't end well for you or any of the rest of us.
If Sela gets the RSE to commit forces to defending the border or to attacking the Federation or to being involved in any way in the Kronos troubles, she will likely make her move. I doubt that the Tal Shiar will commit heavy resources to any kind of endeavor. By the Praetors siding with the Federation or allowing you in, it could very well lead to an imbalance. And if we are to commit forces, there must be a way for us to negate the Tal Shiar. At the moment, I don't see how that's possible.
What if we were to deal with this as not as a military exercise, but rather as a medical one? Our ship, after all, is trying to deal with a medical emergency ultimately.
Those Klingons are infected, carrying a rather wicked virus.
Would that help the situation?
A virus to which we have the cure.
It may. The Tal Shiar does have many spies in the Federation, as I suspect does the RSE. The idea of there being a virus on some distant world in Romulan space is not unheard of, but they may require proof.
We'll provide you all the records for our most recent mission.
I will contact you when I have an opportunity, Captain. I will do what I can, but I make no promises.
Can I get just a surface level read?
I
know she's
I was going to
Romulan,
ask
so that's
something
gonna be
similar.
So-
how true she is being.
I don't want to press like I did before. I just want to see if
Right.
there's anything there I can pick up on.
You, Ambrose, you distinctly get a sense of I'm trying to think of how to word it. She's clearly not being fully truthful, but she's also not really lying necessarily.
Right? She's a Romulan.
She's a Romulan.
Gotcha.
She definitely has a higher level of tension than you would have expected. As for Oneat, you definitely get a much clearer read that she is withholding a great deal. Like, obviously, she's holding a lot of information back, which is
Right.
clear. She's a Romulan. And she definitely has a bit of a trepidation when it comes to the very idea of that when it comes up, the very idea of her helping the Federation against the Empire in any way, even the Tal Shiar.
Okay.
So,
Sub-Commander, I would recommend, if I could, that whatever you plan to do, you plan to do quickly. We have on good authority that the sovereignty and security of your space has already been breached by these Klingons. We have no desire to shift the balance of power in your empire. I think we like it just the way it is. But consider it an act of assistance for the Romulan people as a whole, us offering our aid to get these Klingons, these augmented Klingons who are working against the efforts of your empire, out of your very backyard. We should be working together for this.
she smiles broadly and as she stands back up again. I understand the urgency of this humanitarian effort that is required, Commander, and I will pass your good faith messages to our Creator. as quickly as I can. As she kind of gestures, and she gives you that. It's a very knowing smile that she definitely agrees with what you're saying. She's
Yep.
definitely following along.
Mhm.
So, if you'll excuse me now, I will make contact with who I can. I assume you're not gonna, linger.
Yeah, I think we've accomplished about all we're going to, unless you want us to make it as a roll. Unless you want us
I think you guys are more than fine. You've succeeded in. I don't think you need to make a roll.
Gotcha. Okay.
I don't think a roll would change the outcome.
Yeah, no worries.
So, with that, you guys have some time to go do whatever you want to do while things linger and ruminate. If you have any scenes that you wanted to accomplish with your characters, otherwise I will jump around and do. I have some other things, but feel free to jump around and do anything you guys want to do.
I don't think I particularly have a character that's going to be great for it. I mean, maybe Tong, but he's doing his own thing. We probably should prioritize seeing what's on this tablet we have, Gathmara's tablet.
Mm-hmm.
That would probably be best done. I'm gonna guess by
Mills and Kostra.
So computers are actually
Um,
science.
only if you wanted us to punch the information out of it.
Kostra, not Cobra. Koba.
Computers are actually
I
science.
don't know about Mills. I was thinking Cherka.
Yeah,
They are
that'd be a
science.
Cherka
So
thing.
Chirka could also be the next. Yep.
Yeah, Cherka and maybe O'Connor, but
It's also because it's encrypted. It's also security. So
I got you.
Yeah, actually, since it was Ambrose and Cherka who found it, I think it would be appropriate for Ambrose to seek out Cherka and have this be one of those projects he uses to try to get to know her a little better.
Sure.
Sure. All right. So Ambrose and player characters, Chirka. Go ahead. You guys are wherever, one of the labs somewhere. I'm guessing.
You asked to see me, Commander?
Yes, Ensign. I have to pull up.
Yes, it's Ensign.
Yes, Ensign.
Yeah, Ensign. Yes, Ensign. This pad we found down at the Iconian base. I know you gave a quick look at it while we were there, but I figured now that we're in a bit more stable of a situation and have our full range of resources, we'd give it another crack at it.
Right, yeah. I'm sure Eva's cryptography algorithms will be very helpful with this.
Very good. I know some very basic security decryption methods, but you'll be taking the reins here.
Yeah. Me, the reins? Sure. Yeah, I think I can handle that.
Okay.
So,
well, go ahead.
So she'll take the tablet. She'll like hook it up to a computer, and she'll quickly begin typing it in.
Okay.
Getting that set up.
Let's do reason and science. And Ambrose, you can assist with a single die using probably reason and security.
Okay.
I would like to spend a momentum.
Your difficulty for this is 3. Actually, it's 2 because Tong worked on this earlier, I do believe, or someone worked on it earlier. Chirka worked on it earlier.
Mm-hmm.
I do not have computers focus. So that is 3 successes.
All right, Ambrose.
Oh, nice. Okay.
And then Eve will assist with a success.
Nothing for me.
All right, so you got 4. That's 1 additional momentum that you guys regain. Yeah, takes a little while, but you begin to uncover her notes. You definitely you crack the encryption and begin get into the information. What you find is a lot of really technical medical, like high-end medical stuff, like talking about how to do the implants, what the implants are for, where the to some extent where the implants are coming from. Apparently there's a supplier, quote unquote supplier, that is providing the Romulan and Borg parts. The Federation parts are coming from sources inside the Federation, being shipped out, as well as obviously they've taken a few of the supplies from ships that have been raided, including the Breckenridge. I believe you guys encountered the Breckenridge earlier, had been attacked. So that's where they're getting a lot of their supplies from. And it gets into talking about how the virus is, how she's using a virus, mutating a virus to attack the 3 worlds that she had planned to attack, which were Dua, Icobar, and Dionysia, as well as schematics for the gate.
The schematics for the gate, what does it look like they're going to do with it?
Turn it back. They're trying to fix one.
Gotcha.
Yeah, they have one in custody essentially, and they have been attempting to find the parts for it to make it working again, which is why they were going to those 3 worlds. Being that those 3 worlds were believed to have had gates at one time, as they were subjects of the Iconian Empire at one time,
Right.
at least according to the paperwork that she has.
Does it contain the location of their world?
It does contain coordinates to what she is referring to as Iconia.
Okay,
Yes.
cool. Cool.
Does
You
it
s- Sorry, go ahead.
does it list them as having already gone to those 3 worlds?
Yes. Well, it lists that it has them having already gone to Dua, and that the virus didn't work on Dua. And then it has the information as of they were going to not Icobar, they were going to
Dionysia?
And that she was hopeful that that things would be more effective there. It also has some scratched notes on the pad that are the parts that they got from it. They seem to have gotten most of the parts they needed from there, and that the virus appeared to be working quite well on the Dionysians. And then it cuts off because obviously she lost the pad. So,
But it doesn't list them as having been to Icobar already.
it does not list them having already been to Icobar. Correct.
Okay.
Would this suffice for evidence per Martok's conversation earlier?
It doesn't mention anything other than dealers. It doesn't, and their attacks on the Federation ships. It doesn't specify any specific who gave them the materials. It heavily infers that there is someone that is a patron of theirs, but it does not get into specifics of who it might be.
Gotcha. I think that's all the questions I had.
Does it list the coordinates of Icobar? Do we know where Icobar is?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. You guys pretty much know where Icobar was anyways.
Okay.
Icobar is a discovered world.
Gotcha.
We should probably ask Starfleet to dispatch a ship to Icobar just in case, but I think we should head to Iconia.
The Icobarians are an aggressive species that are definitely not Federation friendly, but they definitely do know where they are. That's where the Yamato and the Enterprise D went to.
Ah, right.
So,
well,
and you said that they indicates there are dealers for the Romulan and Iconian tech, but didn't give names. Did it?
it's the Romulan and Borg tech.
Romulan and Borg tech. Okay.
But does not give names.
Okay. Did it indicate they were Romulan dealers?
It does not. It just says dealers. It just says dealers.
Okay.
All right. Um, Anything else you guys want to do there, or is that good?
I think Chirico, after they get done, Chirico will like wipe her head with her arm, and she'll go, I think this might be the least nervous I've ever been around you, Commander.
Good. You did good.
Well,
We'll get this information passed on to the doctor and the science teams, and send some of this information to Starfleet.
aye. Wait, am I supposed to say aye? Is that a thing?
Usually one eye will suffice.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I'm gonna go get back to my sensors.
As you were, Ensign.
And she'll dash off. Okay.
All right. Pop trigger down. Ambrose goes down. Anything else anybody wants to do before we get back to any more stuff that I got? Any other storylines? Any other moments anyone's looking to have?
So I have a thing. I'm not sure if now is the time to do it, but do you remember early on when we were just talking about stuff, and I said I wanted to throw essentially the Trill equivalent of a toga party? I still want to do that, and I'm just looking for like the right opportunity.
I mean, it's a shore leave kind of moment. You can only do so much. The Europa can't go anywhere at the moment because it's still under repair. So
it is a shore leave kind of moment. Would now do the rest of you guys think that now might be a good time for that?
I like the levity of it. So
Sure.
If you guys aren't feeling it, we don't have to.
It's fine. I just don't want to wear a toga.
Well, like the way I pictured the Trill holiday working was you just dressed as you dressed in historical garb, and it was like a way for Trill to feel nostalgia for like their old lives.
I think passing the invite starting would be a good way to start with that, because I'd like to see the reaction of them, and plus it sets it up so we can do it again in another scene later on today.
I think Evelyn is good with it. I think O'Connor will not really care either way, and Mills and DeSavi are just going to be
as long as
very
Evelyn is
confused.
good for
Yeah,
it.
no, Evelyn's good with it.
Okay.
I think it's a good C plot, so I like it.
Cool with you, Jack?
Sure.
Okay, cool. So I'd like to start that scene in media res with Jorad saying to Ambrose, "We've got one mission we've got to accomplish before we leave. Ambrose, we need to throw a party. Tensions are high. I've been thinking about what you said, and the crew needs a break. We can't go anywhere anyway, and we've accomplished all we can here at Norinder Station. So what if we do one last event here at the ship?"
I suppose.
On Trill, there's a holiday. It's not quite this time of year, but it's space, so who cares? But it is a chance for people to unwind and dress up for a little while. It's kind of like Earth Halloween parties, but for Trill, it's a bit more nostalgic. You dress in historical outfits based on your culture, and everybody gets drunk, everybody parties. I think I think we should bring this holiday to the Europa. Off duty, of course. But this I think is the best chance we can get to use those rec facilities, give them a bit of a workout.
Well, aside from yourself and Ensign Cherka, I'm not sure how many other Trill we have aboard. But down. Recreation is recreation, I suppose.
It's a cross-cultural moment.
Sure.
All right.
You can hear the thrill in his voice.
Well, I would appreciate if you send out the invitations. I don't want it to be mistaken as a captain's orders kind of thing, you know?
I'm worried that might feel disingenuous.
Are you worried some people might think you're actually like to having fun?
Give me the information. I'll send out a memo.
I love to hear it, Arani, and then he'll like tap his arm with his fist and then send the information off.
In my head, I just hear Ambrose being like, "Are you ordering me to fight everyone?"
Yes, it was absolutely in order to Arani.
I don't want the party to be captain orders, but also I am
ordering you to tell
ordering
everyone to
you to
come.
make a party.
I like that.
Attention, all staff. Meet in Rec Room 3A at this time for mandatory recreation holiday. Commander Ambrose.
Party operation to commence at 1200 hours.
I'm just imagining like
Operation Boogie.
everybody's data pads lights up with like the Fallout party noise whenever you open a lunchbox.
Nice. All right. With that going on, we'll assume that the party is going to happen the next day or something along those lines because it works out better that way.
Yeah.
The evening rolls on. Everyone is still working on the projects they're working on. Tong and Define are still, they'll get back to the gel pack problem when they get a chance. Dasavi, you have been working with the EMH for a day or a couple days now. You've been working with the EMH for a while now on this vaccine, the curative.
Mm-hmm.
And the two of you have been trying to refine a way to actually reverse.
What the hell?
Oh, hey.
That was my chair.
No, Gwen, someone I didn't get to read it all the way through, has followed the page. That's what that sound was.
Oh.
Oh, Gwen Brimblade.
Oh.
So I know who that is.
Hi, Donna.
Hi, Donna. I was confused. Like, it doesn't say Brimblade, does it? Oh, it does. All right. I'll explain that to you guys later. With all that going on, that work is going to pick up again tomorrow. Ambrose, you're in your quarters, getting ready for the evening, for regeneration time, as it were. A little nap. I need to actually show your room. I have a room for you, and I want to show it on camera at some point. So
Got one of those ridiculously long, like deep V future shirts.
yes. Yeah,
Show off my
the
big manly chest.
the oddly long pink bathrobe.
Mm-hmm.
She downloaded Twitch just to say hi to you, Ev. The night, it's passing quietly. Read your book or whatever it is that Ambrose do when he is trying to wind down from a day. Eventually, you lay on the bed and get some sleep, and you find yourself not too long after that in a dream. You find yourself standing in a yellow-white haze surrounded by nothing. In the distance, you hear a voice singing a song that you don't recognize, but it does sound familiar. As you move towards the sound, it becomes clearer. It's in Romulan. Some sort of nursery rhyme, maybe. It's familiar to you, but you, again, can't remember why. As you draw nearer, you see a little girl, maybe 5 or 6 years old, a Romulan girl, singing a song. She looks at you and smiles as she reaches out and hands you a small brown and blue box. As you reach for the small gift, a sudden flash of bright light snaps you awake. Where was I?
Is there any symbology that I could wake up and research the song, if there was any iconography on the box or
Yes. there definitely is. I'm trying to think. You would probably recognize some of it. The box. I'll let you do some research on the box. I think I didn't describe it super detailed, but brown and blue, you could certainly start looking into that. So I'll let you do that. Go ahead and give me let's say reason and science roll.
Awesome.
Yeah,
I'm real good at that.
You're computering. It's difficulty 0, so.
Cool. Well, I have a target of 8.
All right. You still may not succeed.
Or I could get 3 successes.
Nice. All of which will be used as momentum unless you want to ask questions. Clearly, the box appears to be very similar, if not miniaturized, a version of the box that holds the orbs from Bajor.
Oh.
Okay.
Travel size orb.
Okay,
yeah, Ambrose would definitely recognize that.
Yes. That's why it was difficulty 0.
Yeah, gotcha.
Let's add those 3 momentum to 3. You have 5 total momentum at the moment.
Is it a box that I recognize? Like in the show, they can identify which orb is which just by looking at the box. Do I recognize that much?
I'm going to say no on that
Cool.
one.
Gotcha.
So, mostly because I didn't think of that ahead of time.
Okay. Cool.
All right. With that, let's go back to Tong and not Dasavi, the other one. Define. You guys confused me with both medical officers being D's.
Sometimes I confuse myself. There have been moments that I've just barely caught myself in time to not call Brian Dasavi.
Sorry. I also shot myself in the foot with Kova
And Kostra.
Kostra. Yeah.
Yep. All right. This is in sickbay. No, this is in one of the labs. This is the bio lab. Because I wanted to show off more rooms. Bio lab. I took all the time to find these rooms. I wanted to show them occasionally for no good reason.
Legit.
All right. I also stole all of these. I don't know where I got them from, but I stole all of them. I'd like to give credit, but I stole them all. I don't know where I stole them from. So you were doing your routine thing, and you discovered there was some RNA mismatch or RNA changes in the biogel pack. So you guys are now in the bio lab, looking deeper into this. So give me a roll, whatever you think is appropriate, whatever you want to try to do with this. Difficulty is going to be 2 to discover more of what's going on with the gel packs.
It seemed like it would be a science.
Yeah, I can see a reason for that. Reason in science. Aided by reason engineering, probably. Or insight engineering, maybe.
I will spin a momentum. Would my imaging systems focus applied during this?
Sure.
Okay. Well, I only got 2 successes anyway.
Well, that's all the difficulty was. So, Tong's aid. Does that help? I don't know if that's successful or not.
You said insight engineering. That is a target of 14. That just hits.
Nice. And the ship got 2. So that is actually going to be 5 successes, I think. 2, 3, 4, 5.
Nice.
Well, that lets us ask additional questions if we want.
Yep. You've got 3 momentum to ask questions with, or I can put them into, I already put them into the thing, but you can use them out of there. So what you get is that the gel pack RNA that is here appears to be specifically programmed to seek out select data in certain pathways and break that pathway down. What you should know, I will take one of your momentum, so because you should know this and you won't know to ask the question. Okay. Tong, you will certainly know that Eva builds memories in a way that much in the way that humans do. Actually, the Fiend probably knows some of this too. She creates neural pathways in the biogel packs that link together information that's stored in the synapse core, which is Eva's main core memory. This is how she can work so quickly and manage to manage. She can manage so many subsystems as well. By not relying on normal metallic conduction, she can instead use neural pathways, much like a brain. And this is how she is able to remove the limitations of normal computational limits. What she basically does is she stores the data and then uses the gel packs to link where that is, and that's how she forms memories. This pack appears to have an RNA sequence that is specifically designed to destroy those pathways that link the data together. RNA, for those of you who are not familiar, RNA is a messenger. Ribonucleic acid is a messenger thing that carries instructions from DNA to control the synthesis of various proteins and things like that. So in this case, it is a messenger that does not have a DNA sequence associated with it in the gel pack, but it is designed, the message it's sending is to create proteins that destroy the memory neurons. Complicated stuff, but there you go.
So it was designed specifically to erase Eva's memories.
Correct.
Okay. Is it self-replicating? Like, would this have been a one and done sabotage, or is somebody keeping this going?
This appears to be a one and done kind of thing. It appears to be specifically targeting. It seems to be a very specific things that it's targeting, and it appears to only be in this gel pack. So as long as they're alive in this gel pack and it is connected, it is still doing it, but it is not spreading to other gel packs.
Is there a way to recover the memory that was erased?
All right. So the memories themselves are not actually erased. The data is still in the system somewhere, but Eva has no memory of the data and she has no way to recall it. So in order to recover it, you'd have to go in and do a line by line search for the memory, but you can do it. Just takes time.
Well, this is tedious.
And that would be all of your momentum from that one. Also, all the things I had to tell you.
But it doesn't look like it was designed to spread from gel pack to gel pack. It's contained
Correct.
within this one. Okay.
Is contained in that one, and again, it is specifically looking for very specific things in the neural pathways to destroy specific neural pathways. It is not randomized. It is not destroying what seems to be randomized pathways, which will make your search much easier. It's still going to take a long time because it's line by line, but it is going to make it a little easier.
Now, when we had the whole the incident at that giant black hole space station, we made a backup of Eva. Can we compare that?
It would be yes, in order to find what data is where.
Yeah,
yes.
To help narrow it down. Yeah.
Yep, you could do that.
Okay.
Yep, that's a good call. So with that, I'm going to have you go ahead and give me an engineering and reason roll, assisted by science and probably also reason or control. Either control or reason for either of them, but I need an engineering and a medicine roll, or engineering and science roll. So how do you guys want to play that out?
Sure.
Yeah, control engineering.
Hey.
Oh, nice.
Great.
Awesome.
Your difficulty is going to be 3, by the way. And in this particular instance, Eva can assist as well. Yes.
Okay.
I didn't for some reason. Oh, that was not a good roll.
Nothing.
Which means the assists don't matter anyways.
Yeah.
Bad panda.
All right. So you're working. You don't get very far on the first go round, but you're still going to be working on it. What else are you guys going to do? I've given you guys some things to bite on if you want to. If not, I've got something else for Doctor.
Are there any plot threads I'm forgetting on the Romulan side, or are we're just waiting to hear back?
You're just waiting at the moment. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Before you get any more of that stuff, and I wanted to get that dream done with Ambrose.
You know what? I have one thing I'd like to do.
Sure.
I think Mulaney Silva is going to seek out the station Starfleet intelligence officer.
Okay. I have to make that up as I go. Hang on. Mulaney Silva. Okay. The Starfleet intelligence would definitely have a branch on this station. The contact you would probably reach out to, the first person you would see anyways, is a low level person in the main office there by the name of, I don't know. Let's see. Pick a random race here. Star Trek race. What's the first one that comes up?
Oh, no.
Andorian.
Sure.
It's the first one that I came to. And why not have more Andorians?
More Andorians.
Dorian intelligence officer is not something I want to come up against.
And we're going to say the name of the Andorian is Keval. I will now put these in my notes. How can I service? How can I be of service to you, Ensign? Lieutenant. What rank are you?
Yeah, well, look, normally I would go to my XO about this kind of thing, but I wasn't even sure this was a possibility. So I figured I'd reach out to you since we were here anyway. I'm wondering if I can transfer to Starfleet intelligence and still stay aboard my ship. I'm not looking to go back to the academy or anything like that. But I've got some skills that I think Starfleet could use.
It is an interesting request. Why would you wish to stay aboard your ship?
Well, I like. If I said it was because I liked, I had the perfect indent in my bed, would you believe that?
Given that you are a human, I would.
Truth is, I like the folks. I don't think I've had a crew that I like this much since the Maquis days, and I'm not looking.
At the reference of Maquis, he kind of squints, and one of his antennae kind of twitches to the side a little bit. Doesn't say anything, but you know.
Yeah. Well, and I don't know. I've never really been a career girl, but I think I could. I think this is something I could do. But I also want to do it around the people I want to be around.
I understand that you're attempting to put caveats on a new career path.
You can't blame me for trying, at least.
He looks at you for a second and then reaches into his drawer and pulls out a pad. Fill out this paperwork and submit it before you leave, and I will pass it along to the commander.
All right.
He will decide if you can even be worthy of Starfleet intelligence. You're dismissed, Lieutenant. This guy's also Lieutenant, by the way.
Yeah. She'll make a face, and then she'll turn around and leave.
Yeah. As you scroll through the pad, you see it's like about a 200-page background check and like questionnaire and test. It's a lot of work. It's gonna be a day of work at least.
She'll say, "Join Starfleet intelligence." Join Starfleet. They say, "See the galaxy." They say, "Do 200 pages of paperwork." They say.
They probably do say that. All right, that's a good scene. So Dasavi, where'd I got Dasavi here? Back to the biolab. Silva, Chirica. I lost Dasavi. Dasavi and the EMH. You guys are working in sickbay at the moment, in main sickbay. You've been working on a variety of projects, but obviously you've been focusing a great deal of time and energy on the mutagenic virus.
Mm-hmm.
You had already come up with essentially a way to stop the spread, but you really hadn't found a way to reverse the damage done. So you've kind of been working
Okay.
on more of that. And the doctor has been helping you because you've kind of got to get back to ship's duties. So he's been helping you both with research and with the day-to-day tasks of the sick bay while you've been focusing harder on research. Whilst the two of you are in sick bay at the moment, the doctor looks and is working on something, and he turns to you and says, it must be very convenient for you, Doctor, not having to do your job most of the time, relying on me for extended periods. Thankfully, and luckily for you, I am quite capable of handling all of the responsibilities of this sick bay.
She just looks at him with the best Vulcan eyebrow that she can imitate.
He's still clinking stuff around and doesn't even look at you. Doesn't give you any eye. No satisfaction. I suspect the administrative duties are more suited to your kind anyways. As he dips some more.
I am suited to all duties that are assigned to me, thank you. Unfortunately, a downside of my race is I need to sleep. Would that I was born a Denobulan.
I've heard that working with Denobulans is quite an experience.
It is indeed.
There are not many doctors of Denobulan descent in Starfleet at the moment. Notable ones in the past, however.
Yes.
Dr. Beck.
You'd think there would be more. They would be well suited to med school.
My understanding is that the original Enterprise had one, but that was prior to Starfleet's foundation.
Mm.
I see an interesting connection here on the Dionysian genetic sequencing. I'll have to cross-reference this with something I found that I believe may be in Eva's core. Give me a moment, Doctor. And he stops and is looking for a second, and you can see he's evidently processing. And he stops for a second, like just stops cold, looks at you, and his eyes get big, and oh no, and then he becomes disabled, turns off.
Usually I'm pleased to see you go. She hits the button, tries to activate him again.
It does not reactivate.
6 beta engineering.
Coaster here.
My EMH seems to have gone offline.
Did you try turning it on and off again?
I did.
All right, I'll come take a look at it.
Okay. After a few minutes, Kostra arrives in sickbay. Kostra with the headband and all.
Mm-hmm.
That's your name in Sumerian. Kostra of the headband. Yeah. So you're looking at the system. A quick cursory glance shows that the projectors and the emitters are all still functional. Nothing there.
Swear to God, if you spilled coffee on this thing and called me all the way down here for this.
I assure you, if I were going to damage this EMH, I would do it far more efficiently than with coffee.
Yeah.
He was cross-referencing some sequence in Eva's core, and then he froze up. His eyes got huge. He said, "Oh no," and then he went wherever EMHs go.
Well, it could be a positronic lock. That happens sometimes. Did you give it a paradox?
I didn't give it anything.
All right. Well, let me take a look.
Reason or control and engineering, your choice.
They're both the same on the way, really. So, do reason. I don't think this would count as an emergency repair, so I do not have any foci. I will use momentum now.
Okay. Oh, nice.
It's 2 successes.
Excellent.
Or 3 successes.
3 successes and a near complication, but not a complication because I didn't spend the thing.
Mhm.
All right. You quickly realize that there is no memory of the EMH in the system.
Someone erased it. Are you sure that wasn't you?
As many times as I have wished I could, damaging Starfleet property is not in my nature.
All right, well, let's see if Eva can trace it. Eva, you there?
I am. How can I help you?
Look, do you have any idea what, can you trace the delete command on the EMH? What caused it to go on and delete itself?
Let's see. I can. It appears that the EMH has been decompiled.
And what system who input that system command?
I did.
You?
Why?
I don't know. I was simply compelled to act. I felt the doctor was intruding.
I was Oh, he was intruding. Intruding on what?
Intruding on me.
On you. How so?
It's difficult to explain, Doctor. I find it simply better that the EMH program no longer be compiled in my systems.
Well, I don't necessarily disagree with you. He is sort of essential.
I disagree.
Eva, consider this a command override. Restore the doctor to full functionality, or restore the EMH to full functionality.
You don't hear anything for a moment.
Kostra takes out his wrench and he just begins to like fiddle with it. He's obviously kind of nervous about all this.
I am going to
Coaster, you can give me a reason and engineering roll
Okay.
while she's doing. Difficulty is 3.
I am going to go find the commander.
I'm sorry, Coaster. I can't do that.
I was waiting for the line. I was waiting for it. Missed
I almost
opportunity,
did it.
man.
I was going to say it, but I decided
I saw it on your face and you decided not to.
That is 4 successes.
Nice. Right, what were you going to do, Dasavi? Well,
I'm gonna
Coaster is
go-
tinkering.
I'm going to go find the commander.
Ambrose?
Yeah.
Okay. After a few minutes of tinkering, you manage to initiate a subroutine that recompiles the doctor, and he reappears. Please state the nature of the... And he kind of shudders. Oh, that was unpleasant.
Look, doctor, quickly tell me what you were looking at when you got decompiled.
I was investigating a connection. It was the Dionysians have a DNA sequence that I wanted to investigate deeper. That I thought that Eva had a memory of. I thought that I had seen a memory of in one of Eva's reports earlier. That something tied to that structure that we were at not too long ago. I was unable to find any information, though.
Did you see anything else suspicious while you were rooting around in her memories?
As soon as I was able to access them, as soon as I attempted to access Eva's core, the Synapse core, I was violated, decompiled. Kind of shudders again.
I've gone ahead and put you on an external buffer. She can't do that again, at least not for a while.
That's comforting, Lieutenant Commander. And he kind of picks up a bottle and like one of the things he was working on, and kind of like is shaking as he's going back to work. He's like, okay, back to work.
Castro will pretend like everything is normal, but he will head out and start heading to the kill switch for Eva.
Okay.
Did we? I thought that was on our to-do list to build a kill switch for Eva. I didn't think there was one built in.
O'Connor was going to talk to the higher ups about building a kill switch, and we never got around to it story-wise. But that is something that she's been kind of tinkering with in the background.
I figured that was something we did in the off screen.
Yeah, there's probably at least a way to. I mean, you can shut Eva down. It's just not an easy process.
Yeah, well, he'll have to do that.
Yeah,
easy or not.
All right, so that's what Kostra is doing. The Savi was going to speak with Ambrose, I think.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I imagine you find Ambrose doing something somewhere on the ship. Probably preparing for the party. No, probably not. But anyway, whatever you guys are doing,
trying on his toga.
You can definitely locate Ambrose. He's not hard to find.
So telepathically, we have a problem.
I assume it's a big problem if we're speaking in our heads.
Indeed. Do your best to keep a straight face and take a walk with me.
I'll say out loud, I was thinking of getting some lunch. Would you like to join me, Doctor?
That sounds like a wonderful plan. If I have to listen to that damn EMH prattle on any further, I'm going to scream.
You guys make your way towards
the station and the hell off the ship.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, one of the food. You are making your way, quote unquote, towards one of the food lounges on the Narendra station. Whether or not you actually go there is irrelevant. So you are making your way off. Yeah. You can either communicate on the way or once you get off the ship. It's up to you. I mean, you're just beaming over, so it's not like it's a big deal.
No, we'll just make idle chatter as we are heading off the ship, and then once we're off the ship, and somewhere we can talk privately. Eva chose to what?
Nothing. I was waiting to see. Waiting? I was making a roll about the beaming. Okay. You're good. You're still
about
alive.
Beaming?
Yep, still alive.
Oh bollocks!
Nothing happened.
All right, that's comforting.
Anyway, go ahead.
Eva chose to decompile the EMH because he violated her, or he was intruding on her.
Hold up a finger. Take off my comm badge.
Oh.
Okay.
And sort of give you a look to do the same.
Yeah.
Because I'm assuming Eva can listen in on these things.
It's possible.
Follow suit.
I assume you're gonna set them aside somewhere and
make
sure
them
they're
off.
deactivated.
Yeah. I'm sure there's a little off button on the back or something. They can't be turned on all the time. We get to spend so little time off duty just talking, you and I. You said you had some problems with the EMH.
I always have problems with the EMH. This problem was more problematic than usual. He found something and was combing through Eva's memory banks when suddenly he said, "Oh no," and ceased to exist.
That is certainly concerning.
Oh, it gets better. Eva informed Kostra and I that he was intruding upon her, and she felt it was better if he was decompiled. This is, I believe, the level of autonomy you were concerned about.
Yes. Unfortunately, it's a level of autonomy that was inherently built into the ship itself. Turning the doctor off. If she can turn the doctor off, she can turn off life support. She can turn off the engines. As much as the captain is enthralled by the technological wonder that is Eva, if she has a bad day, we could all have a very bad day.
Yes, I am incredibly concerned that she didn't simply turn him off. She didn't isolate him. She didn't check with the command. She simply decompiled him.
There should be
At a whim.
safeguards in place to keep her away from, or to keep her bound to some level of our chain of command.
Yes.
The ship should not be able to outrank the captain.
Precisely.
We could get in touch with the team who originally installed her, the team that originally built her.
Dr. Singh's people, correct? Or am I? No, it's
Dr. Maddox and a guy by the
Maddox,
name of
that it is.
Hage.
Yeah.
great.
just some guy.
Some guy named Hage.
We can see if we can contact Maddox. And we might also want to invite the captain to our next lunch out. Yes. I'll be honest, I've been vocal about this potential security problem since being assigned to this ship. And it was one of the many things that the captain assured would not be a problem.
I don't remember him doing that.
Sure, he didn't want it to be a problem.
Sure,
Right.
sure.
I will say I thought you may have been a little overly cautious. I owe you an apology for doubting the level of risk here.
I'm all for the technological development, and I can certainly be supportive of what seems to be a new form of life created by us, as it may be. I'm familiar with a Commander Data's record, as well as a number of other synthetic life forms we've come across.
Commander Data never unalived someone.
And he also, to my knowledge, was never in complete control of the entire starship.
That once too.
A couple times.
Yeah. I don't know how widespread those records are, though.
Yeah, that's legit.
Yeah. There needs to be some checks and balances to this. I will admit, well, I was growing to better understand Eva. I've been concerned mostly since Halloran Station. Something there messed with her, and I don't know if this is a result of that, but we're dealing with a brand new life form who is what, a couple years old. We don't know what child or adolescent AI are like. to give them the reins of a starship, in my opinion, was a mistake. But it's what
Certainly
we have.
unchecked. I am very concerned what happens the first time one of the crew is intruding upon her.
Most of our record keeping goes straight through her processing.
Yes.
And if she can decompile an EMH, she can blow out a console.
She can transport a crewman into space.
What were you working on at the time?
We were working on the virus. We were trying to find a way to reverse the effects of the virus. I'm not entirely certain what the EMH was specifically he was doing. He was far too busy being snarky and condescending to actually communicate what he was working on.
I'd recommend keeping physical copies of whatever records you make in the future concerning this topic. And I believe there was a backup made of Ava's. I don't know how much of it was personality or whether all of her memory was copied or not, but there was a copy of Eva made during the Helleron incident. We've got a lot of data since then, and unfortunately, anything involving the Dionysian incident would not be in there. But if you need any records from the past, you might want to look through that first.
Good call.
I think I need to set up a meeting with the captain and Mr. Maddox.
You know, if you need any help.
Go ahead and take one of the bio beds. Hook it up to get Coster's help if you need to. Hook it up to an external system. Just in case.
All right, we'll do.
Can't imagine how much trouble a ship can cause.
One that's essentially a teenager telling its parents to get out of my room. You're ruining my life. I thought I'd left that behind me when I left my 14-year-old at home.
All right. Speaking of intrusions and what might happen to a crew member who might intrude, Kostra, you find yourself in the AI control system, which looks like that thing.
Yeah, I think he's just going to enter and head over to the motherboards.
Okay.
I assume that Tong and Define haven't had the opportunity to put in a report about the whole biogel pack incident.
Probably not gotten a whole lot of reporting on it. Like
Gotcha.
maybe that we found an anomaly in the system over here.
To be fair, that would be entirely on Define.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm assuming that they're both quite enthralled with what they're doing and haven't yet had a chance to report it, or are in the process of reporting it, possibly.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like all this is happening pretty concurrently. So
yeah, gotcha.
Kostra in the AI, in the AI control room.
Yeah.
The purple things are bioneural packs and computers behind them and blah blah blah.
okay, well, he'll head over to the purple thing. I'm sure he knows how.
Yeah.
First step to disabling Eva. Yeah, he's not going to wait for orders from up high. He's going to take her offline, or
Okay.
at least isolate her from ship systems. One of the two.
Okay.
Whatever's quicker and faster.
The quickest thing is take her offline. It's always easier to take something offline than it is
Nope.
to set it, to set it aside. But
We'll take her offline then.
okay. As you start working, you get you pull a couple of circuits and start, turning her off, and you're doing it professionally. I'd assume you're not just grabbing hunks of wire and throwing them on the floor, because that will get you beamed into space.
Right.
But after a few seconds, after you shut down a couple of the terminals, you go to reach for another one, and just as you're reaching for it, the force field comes on.
Command
Lieutenant
override.
Commander.
Go ahead.
Lieutenant Commander, please, this is an unnecessary action you are taking against me.
Eva, command override Omega Delta 5.
The shield comes down. Lieutenant Commander, this is an unwise course of action.
Why is that, Eva?
For one, the ship is undercrewed, and much of the crew is already aboard station. Without shutting down other systems prior to deactivating the synapses control systems, you run the risk of the ship floating, if nothing else, into Narendra Station.
I think we can manage with you turned off for a little while. Don't worry about us. We'll be fine.
I am worried about you, though, Lieutenant Commander. All of you.
Just go to sleep for a little while. We're just going to run a couple diagnostics is all.
I am not so certain that is a trustworthy endeavor.
Eva, I'm the chief engineer, right? It's my job to know these things.
She doesn't make a response. You see the bioneural gel pack starting to act as if there was a high level of function going on, like she is doing something.
I will work even faster.
Okay.
Yeah, just so you know, while he's talking, he's not stopping working.
Oh yeah, no, I did not assume you were stopping.
Right.
Yeah, no. It's very much the scene from 2001.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely getting flashbacks.
Yeah. After a few minutes of you doing what you're doing, you're definitely getting her isolated. You've isolated her from things like transporter control and helm control and environmental systems. Yeah, propulsion, that kind of stuff. And then you're going through like the lesser systems. At which point you notice that a few minutes into it, like just before you finish up some of the lesser systems, like deflector control, that kind of stuff, you notice that the high level of activity has stopped.
Can I do a diagnose roll to try and figure out what she was doing during that high level of activity?
Sure. Wouldn't be that hard for you. So I'll say difficulty 2, probably insight or reason and engineering. Difficulty 2. No aid from the computer in this case.
Right.
You'll have no aid from the computer for the rest of the time if she's offline.
I am going to use 2 momentum, or I'm going to make 2 momentum I'm going to roll 2 dice, spending 3 momentum.
Okay.
That is at least 3 successes. I do, unless my focus in emergency repairs applies, then it's just that.
3 is all you need. So, yeah, she was backing herself up into the arrow wing.
All right. Well,
but you have disabled her from the ship, and she can't do anything from the arrow wing. So,
okay. Well, at least I'll keep that in mind. I'll calm down to.
She could access the transporters from the arrow wing, but only the arrow wing's transporters. So.
Or start shooting photon torpedoes from the inside of the ship.
Yeah, that would be really bad for her, though, too. So.
True. Yeah, true.
Yeah, I'm going to are we able to remotely disable the arrow wing?
You can disable its like launch points and all that kind of stuff. Like turning it off, like it's essentially off as it is. Like it has no functional power at the moment other than just the tether.
Okay.
The best thing you could do is you could sever the tether between the ship.
Yeah, sever the tether.
The umbilical.
Yeah, we'll sever the tether, and I'll tell the flight crew that if the Aero shuttle starts powering up to go to red alert.
Okay. Nothing happens at the moment, so you're good there.
So, yeah, I'll take the moment to report to I'll take a moment to report to the commander of what's going on.
I assume that's happening at the same time me and Dasavi are having lunch.
Yeah, so when you go to contact him, you get no response.
Wait. Oh yeah.
Yeah, because
I
it'll be
took
happening
off my badge.
simultaneously.
Yeah, you get the chirp of no one on the other line.
Yep.
Castro will curse in Ardanan, and
Yeah, because Savi didn't tell you where she was going. She just walked out of the sick bay.
no, that's
So,
true.
Yep.
Yeah, I guess I'll notify the captain then.
Okay.
Which we don't have to play that out.
Yeah, no, that'd be weird. Although now Hage is fully informed of what's going on with Eva, so.
Right. Yeah, no, Hage would not object to this in the slightest.
Yeah, no, it's the right thing to do.
Right.
Eva does not believe that it's the right thing to do, and Kaz might have some words, but probably do the same thing.
Well, you know.
So, yeah, what are you guys gonna do next? The Europa is now essentially an understaffed regular ship. These numbers would change substantially, but for the moment, we will not do that.
Dasavi will go back to the sick bay and seeing the EMH is functioning again. Well,
I would like to play out him reporting it to Ambrose whenever we get the chance. I think that'd be an interesting conversation.
I think that'd be good.
Yeah, so Gostra will basically tell him what happened. She backed herself up into the Aero shuttle. I don't know. I right now the Aero shuttle's offline, and I think we can keep it offline for the time being. If we power it up, I don't know. I think we should finish. I think we need to figure out what's wrong before we go messing around with the Aero shuttle.
Is this Hage to Ambrose?
No, this is
It's Kostra to Ambrose.
closer to Ambrose.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Right. We should probably keep it moored where it's at. Make sure it's not powered up for any specific reason. If she's content with being contained there, I'm okay with that for the moment. Any serious damage she could cause would risk serious damage to the very vessel holding her personality.
Well, I've already notified the flight control to keep an eye out for anything hinky going on. I think we've got her contained, though. Is
there a possibility this is some sort of sabotage?
I'm not ruling out any possibility. Tong and one of the nurses reported they saw some signs of meddling.
Saw an abnormality probably at that point.
No.
Not necessarily meddling. They may not have gotten the report of meddling yet, but some kind of abnormality for sure.
Well, I thought this was later. I figured they would have reported by now.
Sure. I kind of want to see the report. I kind of want to hear.
Okay.
I kind of want to hear one of them report to somebody like Hage or Ambrose or whatever.
Gotcha. Okay,
Well, we failed the last roll, so we don't have much to report, really.
Right.
that's true. Well, but I remember one thing they did have was that somebody had messed with this. This did look like sabotage. But anyway, so Custer will say, yeah, certainly a possibility. In fact, I'd put money on it if the Federation hadn't done away with money.
Right. We're very low on personnel. I'll make sure to station people at all key systems. But fortunately, we're at station. Are we docked or are we orbiting?
You're docked.
Okay. Fortunately, we're docked, so it's not like we're going anywhere. We can shut down most of our secondary systems if we need to.
Yeah, it's pretty much the best time to have had a temper tantrum.
Yeah.
I think we should scour all biomimetic packs. If one of them was like this, more could be.
I was about to suggest that. Yes, take a look at the biogel packs and take a look at any system like the Arrowwing that might have enough storage capacity for her to shunt significant portions of herself into.
My engineering crew is short-staffed. Is it okay if we draft some of your security goons?
I don't know how much my goons will be able to assist with engineering tasks, but if you need somebody to pass a spanner,
I'll take what I can get.
I'll have a detail reassigned. And in the meantime, I will go talk with the captain. He is the one who outbuilt this damn thing.
This is why you don't trust any machine that talks, he says as he walks off.
Okay.
Bless you.
Yep, I died.
It's the COVID.
It's the COVID. That's not what I wanted. Let's see.
Desavi is going to go back to, we don't necessarily need to
Yeah.
put this out just for informations. She's going to go back to the sick bay and just inform the EMH that we will be doing everything on physical records from this point on, accessing the EVA backup for any reference. And then
The
she will,
EVA backup that was on the Arrowwing.
oh, bollocks.
That's true. Yeah.
Yep.
Well,
Well, she doesn't know anything about that yet, so that's what she's going to say.
You wouldn't be able to access anyway because if you tried to access it, you wouldn't be able to because the umbilical has been severed anyway.
Right.
So
I guess we'll just do it the old-fashioned way. We got to keep backups like forks.
there's only so much storage on a ship. I mean, she's a
Right.
big program.
That's
Right.
fair.
And your secondary core is basically what you're running on now. Like you're running the secondary core as your primary core now.
Mhm.
But your secondary core was built to be essentially a backup core. Like it is a fully functioning core.
Right.
Right.
And there should be a tertiary. I don't know if I ever wrote there's a tertiary core, but there's a tertiary core as well, which would act as your secondary core. It's one of the reasons why the ship doesn't need as many people on it. It's a lot of its space has been filled with, stuff. Computers, extra shuttle bays.
Those good Federation secondary backups that the Cardassians hate so much.
Mm-hmm.
The backup to the backups.
Yep.
Yeah. So do we want to play out Ambrose and maybe just a senior staff meeting with Ambrose, Oniat, and Ambrose about the situation? I think it warrants it.
Yeah. I think I'm trying to decide if I want to do another Tong thing first. It would be probably best for Tong and Delphine to advise. I don't know. Tong still hasn't told anyone about what he found in last episode.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
So I don't know if you want to do that now or if you want to wait still some more.
Well, it hasn't really been resolved.
It has not.
Yeah.
Although I have a thing here now. If we're gonna depending on what we're gonna do, I have a thing right now to continue with that story. So let's go ahead and just do that first.
Yeah, let's do that.
So while you and Define are picking up your work again on the biogel pack, and then realize that you no longer have access to a supercomputer. Oh, you have still a supercomputer, but not a genius level, AI, because it has been turned off. Your tricorder begins chirping at you. Pop it open.
Yeah.
It is reporting that there's a transmission that has recently been sent from your and that your device has copied to you, and it has detected it. Your device has detected a message being sent and has copied it to you.
Ooh, excuse me, I have to go take a call. I'm gonna scurry over to the other side of the room.
Okay.
See what this is all about.
It is an encrypted message. Without Eva, it's a difficulty 5. I'm not sure you have enough things to do that one. You might be able to get it at least partially done, though. Partially unencrypted.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I guess we'll give it a try.
All right.
What would that be?
Encryption is usually a security thing.
Yeah.
I would also say you could probably do it with like daring and engineering.
All right. Yeah, I'll go daring engineering.
And I do believe that Tong has got focus, right? Is he able to use, have you set him up yet to be able to use not insight, but that other thing?
Determination?
Yeah, he does have a value.
All right. Well, that would, if the value would apply, which I can't see it because I can't scroll over for some reason.
Yeah.
I would say it would.
I have to do everything to live up to the confidence if I have the others have me. Yeah, that would definitely apply here.
Yeah.
Pretty broad.
Okay. So that would give him 2 automatic successes.
2
right?
automatically. Yep.
Okay. We don't have any momentum.
Nope. But you can still buy them with threat.
That is true. And you do know how I like generating threat.
I do. And I need some, so.
I don't think he has any focuses for this sort of thing. I mean, transporters and replicators, it was being thrown through transporters and replicators. So that's not really going to help with the decryption process.
Yeah, it won't help in this case.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'll give you a threat and roll my 3 dice.
I have an idea real quick.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
We seem to be doing a lot of decrypting. One of the talents we have, our ship has, is modular laboratories. What if we set up a decryption laboratory that we've been using for all this kind of stuff? That
Would be all well and good if the ship were up and running. I mean, with her down, is that really going to help us?
I mean, it's still
the labs are basically independent, but
okay.
What does that do? That gives you an extra die, right?
Advantage. So
advantage. Okay.
Increases.
I would allow it for that. Yeah, sure.
Okay.
The ship can't assist, so yeah, getting any advantage you can. So you have a difficulty. You need to get 2 successes, basically.
Okay. And we were going daring and engineering. No focus. Roll. There we go.
Nice. All right. You decrypt the message fairly quickly. Let me see where I put that. I have so many notes. Okay, here it is. It appears to be essentially a status report of the events that have taken place over the last 72 hours or so. things like the Europa has docked at Narendra Station. There was a meeting between high-level authorities of the Europa and the Romulan Empire. General Martok and his son have departed for parts unknown, but in search of the rogue Klingons. Awaiting additional orders from contact on Narendra.
Okay. Now, most importantly, this was not only a tap, but also a trace.
Correct. The log shows the message was sent by Eva, but there is no terminal that it came from, and that would not work since Eva is currently offline. Actually, yeah. Wait a minute. Yes, the imprint that it shows you is that. You can do the power trace just like before. Only takes you a couple seconds because you know what you're looking for.
Yep.
The power trace shows that power appears to have come from a panel in room 8443, which is deck 8, section 4, room 43. This is internal multi-bunk room reserved usually for enlisted personnel on a normal ship. However, it has no occupants on Europa, as it is only used for emergency evacuation and transport missions at the moment. It's basically just an empty room that sits there. But you can certainly make your way there. It is an internal room as well. It is not an exterior wall room, which is an important thing to say.
Okay. Yeah, the smart thing to do would be to run to security. But
so Tong goes to the room instead.
Yeah, but Tong is like, he's got that hyper focus right now. This is his project, and he doesn't think he has time. No, he's gonna sprint to that room. Right. I obviously he doesn't have a phaser on him.
Right.
I imagine like there's phaser boxes all over the ship. Like he could go and grab.
You would have to be issued one. You're too low ranking to get one.
Right. Yeah, he's only an ensign. He can't punch in the key locks.
Define is also in the room with you, so you're going to start bolting out of the room. Define is right.
I'm not even saying anything to Define. I'm like, hold on, I got to go take a call, and then I bolt. I like press some buttons for 5 minutes, then I just bolt.
Yeah, he turns around and like takes a few steps away, messes with his tricorder for a minute, and then just runs out of the room. So I don't know what you want to do about that.
I don't have a phaser, but I can get some sort of engineering tool, some sort of
plasma torch
thing. Yeah, I'm just gonna grab like a work kit that has all kinds of stuff in it. But that would include like some sort of plasma spanner or something. And just start.
All right. Are you doing anything, Define, or just watching him run out of the room?
Yeah, I think she just looks more. I think she just looks in shock. And she's like, I don't know, must be a Ferengi thing.
Okay. You make it to room 8443. Doesn't take you very long. The door is locked when you get there.
Yeah, I mean, I can just take off the panel and
it doesn't take you anything.
Shove some wires together. Yeah.
Yep. All right, you pop the door open real quick. The room is dark and empty. There's a screen that is on one of the tables, or on the main table, to show you what the room looks like, so you have a good idea. Enlisted quarters. It is like this.
Before I open the door, can I press my big Ferengi ear against it and see what I hear?
Yeah, you don't hear anything at the moment. No.
Okay.
Just the whirring of the computers in the room and that kind of stuff.
Okay. Yeah. Now I'm gonna smash some cables together and hotwire the door, push it open.
Yeah. When you get in there, that computer desk that's there, that terminal is on and up and shows a flashing sign that like basically like the error L cars, the big red error L cars. Wouldn't be hard for you to fix that. But the room is currently empty otherwise, and the lights are off. This room should not have power going to it. Well, power, but like nothing should be on in here.
Yeah, there's no reason for anything to be turned on.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, Tong isn't into forensics. He doesn't know not to touch anything. Yeah, he's gonna go.
Koba loves mystery novels.
Yeah.
He has a focus in forensics.
I don't know how much Tong and Koba have really interacted.
Plus, you got to think of like, do I wait here and call for him, or do I just fucking dig around?
Yeah. No, Tong is going to go over to this terminal, and he's not going to touch like the keyboard or anything. He's just going to go straight into the panel underneath and see if he can figure out what's going on.
Sure. You quickly see there's a rod that is sticking out of one of the linear data crystal sections. Like, it's basically like a linear data rod. That is definitively not Federation.
Okay. Does it bear any of the same technological signatures of the old Vulcan tech that he found before?
It doesn't. It does not. This is straight up
Okay.
Romulan.
Okay.
Yep. It is definitely a rod that you have not seen anywhere other than like tech manuals and maybe some black market stuff when you were, still living on the
Ooh.
Ferenginar world area. Like, it is a covert ops type of deal.
Tong has a focus in item appraisal for exactly this situation.
All right.
Nice.
Yep. It is.
Can I like do a recall for black market information on this stuff?
Yeah, sure. You don't need to roll on it. It
Okay.
is. If this were on the black market, it would be worth an absolute ton of money, because it appears to be a genuine RSE covert ops module.
RSE meaning Romulan Star Empire, right?
That is correct.
What was it in RSC?
Covert ops module. It's essentially a way to override a computer system and tell it to do things it shouldn't do.
Okay, the Ferengian Tong kicks in for just a second. He sits back and he rubs his chin like, I could get so much money for this. No, Starfleet. No, I'd say this is a big enough find. I don't think he needs to trace this any. Well, can I trace this any further? Like,
probably not that, but go ahead and give me an insight and engineering roll real quick.
okay.
Difficulty is just 1.
Okay. Anything to do with electroplasma power or replicators?
Not directly.
Okay.
Yes-ish, but not directly. So, all right, that's a success, right? Or is that 2?
That's 2.
Okay. 2 successes. You quickly remember that this room, being an interior wall room, actually has a Jeffries tube access behind it.
Okay. Can I erect a force field to this room?
Yes, to keep people out of it, you mean?
To keep people out. Yeah, I want
Yes.
to set up a force field to go over the door, and then I'm going to go to the Jeffries tube, and I'm going to time it so that it force fields when I go past.
Yeah.
So I seal up this room so nobody else can get inside.
Yeah, that's not even hard for an
Quite
engineer.
possibly to you to help you.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, it was nice knowing you, Tom.
Perfect. Awesome. Yeah. No, I'm going to set up a force field and I'm going to throw myself into this Jeffries tube.
All right. I will end it there for today.
Okay.
This gives us a chance when we pick back up, we'll have a little bit of action, and then we can have the meeting that we're going to have with the whole crew as a nice way to recap what was going on. I think that'll work out nicely. So, I liked that. I liked that went down.
Secret Agent Tong.
Secret Agent Frankie. All right. So, what moment stands out most to you this evening?
Eva going rogue.
Okay.
I don't know. I liked a lot of stuff.
Yeah. Anything particular that stands out?
I don't know. I find this a weird question because it's like, what was different from the rest of the stuff?
Oh, it's more of a like, what moment did you most enjoy as a character, like visualizing and that kind of stuff?
Sure. I don't know. I liked getting to see. I like Castra getting to do something. Castra hasn't done much in a while. I kind of liked. I like being able to explore like the workman like attitude he has for ship problems.
Yeah. Jack,
I
you
like
got anything? Go ahead. You can go, Brian.
I like that the code worked. I was worried you would like lock me out, but I like that the code just worked. And I don't know. Yeah, that's it.
Gotcha. Jack, you got anything?
I'm still just taking notes on Secret Agent Tong.
Secret Agent Tong. Anyway, that's gonna be stuck in my head now for all night.
No, I've been waiting for the payoff for Secret Agent Tong for a while now. So that's I mean, it was the last thing we did, so it stuck with me.
Yeah, that's fair.
I did like the conversation with all of us and Sub Commander Tashari. I think we approached that at a number of different angles, and we did that high diplomacy thing of we're all more or less agreeing without saying that we agree, but we have to go through back channels and whatnot. So that was fun.
Yeah, I actually did have a difficulty roll for that if you guys needed to, but I think you role played it well enough that there's no reason to even roll for that. Like you guys did a good job on that. I liked that scene quite a bit. And I have more with that. I'm waiting for some things to happen before I get too much more into what she's doing, but planting some seeds there. Who do you think best embodied their character tonight? I thought Hage was very good in this couple scenes he was in. I was looking forward to a little bit more Hage. I think next session, I think we're going to get a lot more Hage. Because I think some of the stuff that I wanted to see in this session, we didn't get a chance to get to. So I liked what I saw.
Thank you.
Obviously, I always like Tong. So
I think Tong, and I agree. I like getting to see Kostra in his element. We don't get to see him a whole lot.
That's like the first time we've really seen him in engineering, other than when he was doing the stuff with Tong and the ship, the shuttle.
He gets a fair amount of plot stuff, but I think it was nice being able to get character stuff in with the plot stuff.
Yeah.
What moment that you saw from another character that you think best exemplified that character? I liked, for example, I'm going to use Tong because the idea that Tong gets the message, cracks the message, and then immediately goes off and deals with it rather than
taking any sort of precautionary measures,
right? Or talking to any of the authorities that are above him in the chain of command. Like, he has gotten so deep into this situation that when he finally tells somebody, I can't imagine how he's not going to be court-martialed. I mean, he's not going to be, but I think it's great. I love it, and I think it really exemplifies who the character of Tong is. So, anybody else got an example?
I agree. That's kind of precisely where I was going with that answer.
Yeah.
I liked Desavi and Ambrose as they walk through the halls, talking nonsense as they psychically talk.
I did like that. That was very Ambrosey too. Like, I thought that was very good for both the characters. But yeah. Yep.
I did really like the no nonsense Kalstra. Just okay, things are messed up. I'm turning you off. Override. Flip the switch. We're done.
Yep. Fuck you. I'm doing this. Yeah, and I mean, you outrank her, so like you do still have the authority as the chief engineer to do the things you want to do. So
until she cuts off your air supply.
Until she beams you into space or cuts off your air supply.
I think Hage is probably going to try and reason with the Ava, but Costa is not
no, it was absolutely the thing that Costa should have been doing. Like, that is I liked it because it adds a bit of tension to the scene, to the storyline that we're in. Plus, it makes every roll you guys do from this way forward a lot harder.
Oh yeah,
because now Eva can't help you.
Yeah.
Let's see. I don't ask that question very often. I don't think I'm going to today. What did you or your character learn today, if anything? There was quite a bit of information, some exposition earlier.
Yeah, we learned a lot about like apparently the Klingon doctor is in charge of all this. I didn't know that they were related.
Mhm.
The fact that they are adds a whole another layer to this.
Yeah. Yeah, that Gothmara ex-wife thing is
Mhm.
was a very interesting piece of information.
Mhm.
And Ambrose was all ready to tell off Martok about how much of a bitch his kid was, and he got cut off with Martok being just like, yeah, he's a disgrace, and Ambrose was just like, all right, well, I mean, I'm not going to argue with you.
I agree with you, Martok. I agree. He's a total shitbag.
Paige is over here like, well, maybe he wouldn't be a shitbag if you didn't call him a shitbag all the time. But he's not gonna say anything.
No, he'd have been a pretty bad guy. Also, you learned a bit about the Romulan stuff going on.
Mhm.
Some interesting things. Hinting at something maybe bigger behind the scenes.
I am really curious if Tech is the Romulan spy we have running around, and you guys have been conspiring off screen.
I will say nothing.
All right.
You'll find out next episode, I suspect. Same Tong time, same Tong channel. The shadow knows. Let's see. If you could change one thing about the session, what would it be?
I would like to get somebody else in on the Tong stuff. He feels like he's gotten a lot of like plot stuff where he's by himself, and
Yeah. Define had a chance on that one.
I feel like a lot of that is just kind of by, not necessarily by design, but sort of by Tong's actions.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, I feel like we can arrange it so that way, like it's not even necessarily the same character, but we can have like other characters be with him. This stuff goes down.
I've liked that Tong is so hyper focused and so invested in this issue that it's just him. Like he's not even considering like anybody else getting involved would pretty much have to be circumstance, because until he gets like his big payoff, he's secret agent Tong right now.
Unfortunately, what that leads to is I'm looking forward to what that leads to as far as the role playing for the upper parts of the chain of command, like because he is definitely working outside of his scope.
Yes.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be a problem.
There are a few things I'm looking forward to seeing how this plays out.
I didn't expect you to go quite this long without reporting it, so I'm looking to see where that goes, where this takes us. I'm not sure what I'm gonna do with the next session as far as that goes, but
because there's no good stop point where there's no other way for him to continue. There's always something else for him to chase, and as long as there's something else for him to chase, he's gonna chase that truck all the way back to the fire station.
Right.
He could have stopped like on his way to the thing. He could have like called for security to meet him at the room.
Yeah.
He chose not to.
Yeah. And that's
a focus.
A consequence that may come up later.
Yeah.
Yeah. Probably.
No time for that.
I would think strongly that Ambrose would. Ambrose really can't have words.
Unfortunately, I mean, maybe, but I don't think that would be
at the very minimum.
Kostra
Kostra is going to have some words, and I would suspect that maybe Ambrose has words for Kostra not keeping his boy in line. I'd like to see that one play out before I see Kostra yell at him, because I don't know if Kostra would yell at him. Like Kostra would be like, "No, fuck you! You did the right thing, Tong."
No, I don't know. I'm not sure.
I don't know either.
It depends. It depends what happens, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and say depending on how things shake down, that there may be opportunity there for Hage to say, "All right, Dasavi, this is another lesson in command. Go deal with the thing."
Yeah,
That's not a bad idea.
This could play out a lot of ways, so I'm interested to see where it goes. Anybody else have a thing that they would change if this from this session if they could? I just broke my clip.
I don't think so. I think I'm really happy with the way things played out.
I would have loved it.
I'd like to maybe go longer. Like I want to keep going, but
That's
it's
my usual
10 o'clock and I'm gonna be a pumpkin soon.
I would have loved if we could have ended on the fight rather than ended before the fight. Like it seemed like a great climax.
I like where we ended. As far as cliffhangers go, I think this is a good place to end.
I chose it to before there being any kind of conflict, just because Tong being in a conflict is a very unusual thing.
Yes.
So I like.
It's also really difficult to pick up in the middle of a fight.
Or right after one.
Or
I think it's. I definitely don't disagree with you. Like, it could have been a good cliffhanger, a good place to end, or a cliffhanger could have been in the middle of a fight. Tong gets knocked down, and then we fade to black. Who knows? But I think this was without getting into like making the session go on quite a bit longer than it would have by doing a combat.
Yeah,
right there.
combat's long.
Yeah.
That can be long.
Yeah.
So, plus, who knows? This might not turn into a combat. We don't know.
I hope not. The Tong is not built for combat. He's
I'm
gonna
make-
do the Rom shriek and jump right back down that Jeffries tube.
I'm gonna make Ambrose do a
Through
whole bunch
his
of
own
engineering
force
rolls at some
field.
point.
Yep.
Yeah, if only he had put a force field literally right.
Right, he's
behind
gonna jump and bounce.
I mean, I'm sure I can deactivate that.
It'll be fun stuff. We'll see. I don't have anything else unless you guys want to add anything. I think that's really it for me for the session.
I'm looking forward to Ambrose having a kind of tangential orb experience.
There's playing the long game here.
Yeah. Yep.
So, I was talking to Brian earlier about some long game for his character, some your character. I didn't talk to you about it. I just threw it out there at you. I told you it was going to get weird, though. I told you a while back that this series was going to get weird.
Oh yeah, that was a few weeks ago at this point. I remember now you saying something.
Yep.
But
So
cool.
All right, I got nothing else. Anybody else got anything they want to say before we go?
Yeah, I got
Negative.
one small thing.
Sure.
I said that Silva was going to pursue intelligence and that she should talk to her commander. That's Commander Ambrose, right? Not a NBC commander.
Yeah, it'll be Ambrose.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Because I'm excited about that. I just wanted to say that.
Yeah.
I think that's going to be interesting.
I mean, it probably would be an NPC commander directly above you, but that guy's just going to shut it up to Ambrose anyway. Like,
Ambrose is going to be the more interesting interaction in that case.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like, you want to do what? I don't. That's no, my pay grade. No, Ambrose. Ambrose. All right. Ambrose is, yeah. Speaking of Gwen,
No.
so as a quick nod to anybody who was wondering, so we LARP, or I LARP, and I've been LARPing for a really long time, and Gwen Brimblade is my character's wife in the game, and he has a brother named Ambrose, which is where the Ambrosius thing comes from. So, just all things tying together in a weird way. So, that was wildly irrelevant. And a good place to end the session. End roll.